Awesome. Hey guys, it's Lois. How y'all doing? Hey, listen. I look like I got a chest out to here at the stance. How's that? Hey, listen. I went over to Office Depot today to get myself set up for the year. I purchased one expense tracker, and then I didn't like it. There was so much to it that it was too much for what I needed it for. So I got lucky, and they had one that I really liked from the year before. And I thought I'd show you guys this because I know a lot of people at the very end of the year, they're freaking out, trying to figure out what they're supposed to keep track of, what they were supposed to keep. My theory in life is don't throw any receipt away when it comes to your business. Business says business. And of course, my biggest business is my salon business. And if this gives you any clue about receipt keeping, guys, you got to keep receipts. Well, you're like, okay, so how do I know what to keep, right? How do you know what to keep? Well, they will literally give you a written out thing on what is deductibles, okay? Because you want to get as many deductions as you can, especially if you're self-employed. Or in a DM or MLM or a direct sale company, you want to keep every receipt possible and use use everything that you can. So anyway, Jerry's always called me the worst bookkeeper ever. And I am. I'm a terrible bookkeeper. And I'll come out of the gate really good, and then I just stop. So I spent today sorting receipts, writing in stuff into my one from this past year, and I still got to go back through the house and find other things. But one thing I did find out a few years ago was that my supply houses will print out my whole year for me of everything I purchased, my whole year. So always get that, because then if you lose a receipt, you're okay. Some just stop keeping receipts because of that, because they can get a printout of their business. But in other businesses, that's usually not that possible. 31 has made it more to where you can get on there and go through everything and just pick a topic and print it. You know, there's like business supplies and my subscriptions, and because that job you are charged for your website. And then so remember, everything's a deduction. In this industry, your phone is part of your business. Your phone is technically your office, if you think about it. So you can claim 50% of your phone can be claimed. You put the whole thing in there, and then you claim it, and it's a deduction. Deductions, guys. Deductions. If you have to buy a new laptop, if you have to buy a new tablet to use for your business, if you have to get a new printer, the software you buy to do your taxes, if you do your own taxes, is a deduction. Paying the accountant is a deduction. Paying to send your stuff into the IRS, that came out wrong. Paying your accountant and paying your, paying for the software if you choose to do it at home. That's what I meant. So anyway, so then you can, everything, okay, again, I'll just say it. Almost everything out there is a deduction. If you have to buy, I work on my feet all day. I can claim my shoes for work. You can try everything you can. And if you have an accountant, he'll tell you yes or no, whether it's claimable, but keep the receipt. Okay. If you go out to dinner and you hand out your business card, it's a deduction for that dinner. I did conference this last July, and we all went to supper. That's a deduction. Because I went to conference, and anything involved with conference is a deduction, such as any snack I ate, road trip, gas, you name it. Mileage, guys, is a deduction. Okay? Not in my salon industry. It's not unless I do a home visit or I run the supply. Just coming to work is not a deduction. But if I make deliveries, okay, guys, you make deliveries, or you go to a party or an in-home beauty bar or whatever, that travel time is a deduction, okay? So anyway, I got off track. My point was to show you the best book I have found so far for a person who hates bookkeeping. Right here, hate bookkeeping. If you're really good, and if I could get Jerry back on track, I'd have Quicken. He used to keep Quicken for my business, and all he had to do was hit a button and he printed up my entire year, everything separated. It was fantastic because I also only use one card for all my purchases, for supply and so on. One card is used, so everything's in one place. So, and mind you, I've been in this industry for 35 years now, in the hair industry. I've been in direct sales for 11 years now, and I've learned a lot. Let's put it that way. I've learned a lot. Lots of women out there that can teach you a whole lot of things about keeping track of your business. But those that are new to it, or you're like going, well, I'm not really working that anymore, but this is great. No joke. Self-employed, your taxes don't come out until the end of the year. You need every receipt you got. MLM companies, same thing. Direct sales, same thing. You're just given a 1099. They do not tax your income. Some people I've seen pop on to our groups, and they're like, oh my God, this is all they brought me. They didn't take any taxes out. What the hell am I going to do? Well, I hope you got your receipts. Or you can go back through your bank book, page by page, or thing by thing, and find everything that went towards your business. But you would have to prove your receipt, okay? So seriously important. But one of the girls in my other company that I work for, she just printed these out for people, and you can print out 12 of them and you're good for the year. Me, I'm just going to go buy one. They're not that much. I'm just going to go buy one and I'm all set. And it's basically weekly bookkeeping. I found this at Office Depot. And again, it will stay with me every day. And if I'm a good girl, I will write everything down every day, from deposits to purchases. Every day will get written in this book. It's going to tell you about instructions for weekly bookkeeping. Okay, they're going to go over that with you, to journal all your stuff. Then they give you this amazing sample on how to handle it. Okay, not all of us are accountants, so we can't do this very easily. But this, oh sweet, okay, Jerry's picking up Remington for me today. So it's got it shows you exactly how to put in your expenses, how to break down everything for that week, such as, for instance, like operating expenses for the day, what you made, what you brought in that day. Now, okay, your expenses. Let's do this. I would rather do, okay, that wouldn't count. You're going to only want to keep track of those that you have to pay for, towards your business. I rent, so I pay one check a month. So that covers my electricity and my water, things like that. You're going to want to keep track of, did you renew your license that week? Office supplies, anything you purchase for your business. This is an office supply. This is a tax deduction. Legal and accounting. Did you have to send any money to your accountant this week? Your rent goes in there. Your postage. Did you use the post office for anything or send out anything with a stamp? Advertising. Well, in pharmacy, we don't pay for our website, but our business cards count as advertising. Any flyers we make up, which I don't know how you would do that one, but they can count as anything you do to advertise your business. If you put out a news ad, for the newspaper, if you, let's say you do promotions on Facebook, and you pay for those promotions to boost your posts, that's a deduction, okay? Anything you do like that is advertising. Then it's got you have insurance for your business. That would go on there. Entertainment and travel. I travel to conference once a year. If I travel and go to a meeting, that's a tax deduction. You get the mileage, and if you get a drink and a bag of chips on your way, that's counted. Auto expenses, that just doesn't really matter. It just depends on what you're doing. So not a lot of this can be used on that note, the operating expenses. Cost of goods sold, that's if you do inventory and keep a retail thing. And this is for an entire week, guys. This whole thing here is for an entire week. So you're going to add them up at the end of the day. Like gross wages, you're going to write down the total you made that day every day. Well, in direct sales, it's going to be like inventory you have on hand. That is going to be written down that you sold it, that kind of thing. Or how to word this. Well, let's go to revenue. You would write down every day's total at the end of the day. You would write that down in this right up here. See, it's going to show you what to do. It's going to explain to you what to do. What else was it? Gross revenue, returns, net review. They will explain all of that. Then your expenses for that week, you're going to add them up, which this is your expenses for the week. Or this guy right here is expenses for the week. Okay? You're going to deduct all that from whatever you made that week, and it'll show you how little you made that week. You know, no joke. It's going to show you how little you made or how well you did. Let's see. We don't have to worry about payroll. And then your non-deductions you can keep track of. You put down the start date and the end date for that week. Merchandise and material up at the top. Like I go to supplies sometimes 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm going to put in there the date, where I went, and how much I spent that day. It's going to go in this pocket right here because I spent money. It's an expense. Okay? This thing is one of the easiest I have ever seen, especially when they will break it down for you. And then the other one I have at the house that I really don't care for, well, there's just too much to it. I don't do that much. But it will break it down even more, and it will tell you exactly what you can claim. So at the end of this book, it's going to give you enough for the whole year. Okay, let me get to the last page. Or not the last page. Like, here, you can break it all down if you want. You know, for every week, you put in week ending here, what were your total wages for that week, federal taxes, Social Security, Medicare, state income tax. I don't worry about that. That's totally different. That's handled with when I do my taxes. Don't ever put your Social Security number on paper like this. But anyway, it goes business expenses. It's got a whole list in the back of what's a business expense. Okay. What can be deducted. Things like that. Like I said, your phone is a deduction. If you buy a new computer, it's a deduction. If you have an office space in your house that's specifically for your business, something to do with that is a deduction. Accountant can figure that out for you. Inventory tells you how to deal with inventory. Financial statements, business use of a vehicle. It'll tell you which way is best to go with that. And then at the end of the year, you got your balance sheet. So your assets. Your liabilities, your equity, everything's there, and it spells everything out for you with this weekly bookkeeping book. You can find these on Amazon. I just went to Office Depot, and I got the last one they had today, but this is what your daily sheet's going to look like, or weekly sheet is going to look like. And then you're going to separate out everything you spent, okay? Date it, so on and so forth, and then everything's going to get moved over here when you're done for the week. And your daily deposits and that show how much you made that week. If you get paid from your company that week, it's going in there as income. Oh gosh. It's unbelievable what can be considered business supplies, office supplies. Anytime I go to the post office to mail a catalog or to mail an order to someone, that's a deduction. What I spent that day, including the envelope, is a deduction. Your stamp on that or not a stamp. I actually pay. I let them do it for me. And those are deductions. Just, you got to think about it long and hard about it. And if you're not sure, keep it. Hold on to it and wait and see what they say. We just started with an accountant 2 years ago, and I will never go back. Ever. Never will we go back to doing our own taxes. Unless this world goes even more crazier than it is, I will never do our taxes again. Doing your own taxes is unhealthy for your home life, especially if you are a terrible bookkeeper and your husband is very meticulous. And mine is very meticulous when it comes to finishing out the year and making sure we've covered everything, because the last thing you want to do is be audited. So you need to be honest. And like I said, I get my scissors sharpened. That's the cost of that is a deduction. If you buy a table cover for a vendor event, that's a deduction. If you pay vendor event fees, all of those fees are deductions, guys, okay? It's a business expense, okay? Everything is a deduction. If you can find out, if you can get receipts from those that you do it for, or your check stub, that can help. I think they would prefer a receipt, but check stubs work too. But again, I'm telling you, this is the easiest way to go about it. And a girl with 31, she actually broke it down to just more of dealing just with 31. With pharmacy, it would just be like, if you order stuff under yourself and it's just stuff for you, you shouldn't claim that. If it's display, if it's just for display, you can claim that. That is a business or office expense. So, as I said, this is probably the easiest way to go when it comes to manual bookkeeping, like actual paper bookkeeping. And like I said, the very front is going to show you exactly how to do it. And then technically, all you need to do is hand this to your accountant along. I usually don't take my receipts and my deposit slips. That's another one. But I know direct sales is a little more difficult because, like, PayPal now is going to start 1099ing you. So is Venmo. If you have a 500 in sales, well, I don't technically sell. People pay me through PayPal to pay for their orders, right? So I have to figure out how to handle that when the time comes. I'm just not sure. But in other words, I have to keep more meticulous. It's when I do my sales, my outlet sales, that I sell my stuff that I have in stock. All my products here at work for pharmacy, that is stock that I have, and as it sells, that has to be put down as retail. But anyway, you just you got to think about it, and if you're not for certain, keep the receipt anyway. If you are not for certain on if it's a deduction or not, keep the receipt. All right. So, but anyway, I wanted to pop on here and show you this bookkeeping idea. And again, it's great for anyone who is self-employed and you're not really good with Quicken or doing spreadsheets, which I'm not. Jerry is, I'm not. And I would rather keep track of my own stuff. So I got to get better at it, and I'm working on it. Like I said, guys, I keep my receipts. Okay, my supply receipts, my post office receipts, any extra purchases on the outside, my deposit slips are all kept. And I can get deposit slips from the bank. I can just have it print out all my deposits for the year. So you can do that, but you really want to keep your receipts. No joke. Okay. So with direct sales, it's, you get that 1099, but you're going to keep everything. Okay. Again, like I said, vendor events, any fees you pay for that vendor event. If you feed yourself at that vendor event, get a receipt. Your mileage to get you there is a deduction. It can actually make a healthy difference in your taxes. Like, I average about 1,800 miles a year for my businesses, and that was that high when I actually traveled to Ohio for conference, and I think it was a deduction of at least $200 off of my taxes. It brought down what we owed from that. So, but anyway, no joke. Any questions, just look it up or hold on to that receipt until the end of the year. Mark it in your book with a question mark. Whatever you've got to do so you know you've got it. Get you an accordion folder to separate your receipts into so you have them on hand. I didn't do that this year. I was terrible because I had planned to write every receipt down as I went. And I started failing about April, May. I stopped keeping track. I just kept my receipts though. And now I'm just scrambling to get all those receipts because Jerry's given me a deadline this year to get taxes done. Or not get taxes done, but to get prepared and ready to go for taxes. So, anyway, it's just an idea. I highly recommend you do something because it'll freak you out at the end of the year when you get your 1099. And again, I think you have to make 500 or more for it to even count, for them to actually consider it a business. Again, if you spent more than you made, don't do that. But if you do, then it's usually the first year that happens when you're purchasing everything you need for your business. So, weekly bookkeeping, not monthly, weekly. But you're more likely to keep track weekly than you are monthly, or to keep it in your head what it was that you had. So I'm going to go, and I hope this helped you guys out. And again, it's weekly bookkeeping. And this is what the pages look like. Okay? As I said, 31 reps. There's one out there that is specifically set up just like this, but it only has on it what you might need as a 31 rep. So, mind you can cross out what you need to cross out and change it and put your deduction in there. Put your expense in there, whatever you need to do. But guys, it's super, super important, okay, to keep track of everything. Every prize you give out, that's another one. Every prize you give out, somebody wins a mascara, that's a deduction. And so on, okay? So I will talk at you later. Bye.